Hi, this video is for the people following me to Pulau Jarak for bottom fishing via Pancor. This boatman that we're going to use, he's good, okay? But I have to keep in mind that the reason he's good is that a lot of the fish he catches, is he's not eating himself, he sells them to the market. So he really makes sure he catches a lot of fish. So he'll put us on fish for sure, but to get the best catch, there's some things you want to know, okay? Let's start with the rod and reel. Number one thing, when you bust out your rod and reel and we're getting ready to fish, number one thing, get your safety line onto your rod and reel from the boat to the rod and reel. Don't connect from the rod holder to the rod and reel because the rod holder can also fall off, okay? I've seen that happen before, not on this boat, but on other boats. So best to go from the boat itself to the rod and reel. Now, if you're using an electric reel, sometimes they'll have an attachment you can clip directly to. If you're using, I like manuals, like this, I clip to the top lug here, or I will clip to the rod itself. I'll loop around here and clip on the line, yeah? So the thing is that if you loop around the rod, make sure it comes off the side opposite from your handle. Never have it coming off the side of your handle because you have to set the hook quick, and when you go for that, sometimes you won't see the safety line. You'll tangle everything up and the fish gets away, okay? So always safety lines off the side opposite your handle, okay? Now, after you get that all attached, if you're renting the rod and reels and you're getting electric, don't worry about it. But if you're getting your own reel or something like this or borrowing one, make sure you get, like I was holding up here, this is a size 30 Penn International 2-speed. 2-speed, so there's a high gear and a low gear, okay? Always the 2 speeds. You need the high speed to set the hook, low speed in case it's a larger fish, you need to winch it up, okay? It's like a bicycle gear. That being said, yeah, on all of these, there's a preset drag. Make sure you set that properly before you start fishing. You don't set that days and weeks ahead. You set it on the day of, you know, we can set it on the boat even, yeah? But so important that you get all of this cleared up with the, with your reels and get everything set and squared away with the first mate and the captain before we start fishing, yeah? So safety line, if you're not using electric, 2-speed. If you are using electric, make sure the batteries, everything works. Test it before we get out on the water, yeah? Okay, you don't want to show up there and find out that your battery is dead. That's gonna suck, okay? So, let's see. After that, from there, we move on up your rods. If you're renting rod and reel, don't worry about it. If you're getting your own 2050s, 3050s, 3060s, a bit too heavy, but 2060s, I have seen those. Those are excellent as well for the rods. Now, after you get from the rods, we go on to the terminal gear. We start talking about spreaders, okay? Now, the thing about spreaders is this, because we don't want our lines to tangle, okay? And, okay, there are two types of rigs we fish. In the daytime, you'll see the boatman. 100% of the time, he's using a spreader. I like this type. He uses one that looks more like a V. Both catch fish. I love this. He likes the other one. I like this. It tangles, it doesn't tangle very much at all. But, his style really catches a lot of fish too. So both are fine. Wire all the way. Another thing that works in the daytime are basically the giant Apollo rigs. Okay. And looks like this. Okay. We have the attachment to our rod and reel here. We have little swivels that, off of T-knots here. Okay. And then a clip that's easy to break for the weight. So in case I snag the weight, I can keep on fishing, okay? So these T-knots are to help reduce, what is that called? Tangling, okay? And yeah, I'm basically just dropping, what is that called? Baited hooks down 3 at a time, okay? And the reason for this is it goes down very fast with little tangling. Now, the boatman does not use that stuff. He uses the spreader all the way through. From the spreader, how long should the leader line be? Standard is 1, 2, full double arm spreads length from the spreader to your hooks at the bitter end. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to show you is something that I learned from the boatman, being he's a commercial guy, okay, is that he uses a swivel midway through. So he goes, okay, swivel to the spreader, 2 arm lengths to another swivel. Now, in this case, I'm using a ball bearing swivel. He uses a maritime, like shackle, a swivel shackle, like the heavy duty ones they use for commercial fishing. Okay, it's even heavier than this, but yet it prevents tangling. Now, after this length, now this one, I don't know what he's using, but I'm using heavier 120-pound monofilament here, shock leader, because this is going to take a beating. Okay, and after that, then I have my bitter end. Now, in the nighttime, when we're using live bait, okay, we're using live bait, then I start busting out, I follow them. 2 hook rigs. You can see a snood in the front, and I use a polymer knot with a chain knot for extra bite protection on the back hook. You can do that. You can snell both. You can snood both. Both work. I've seen people make sure the hooks are in line like this. I've seen opposite, whatever. I like my hooks at least slightly offset so that one hook through the lips, another hook, or the eyes also works, okay? And the next hook is through the skin in the back. I want to make sure the hook point is out all the time, never buried into the bait, okay? Now, in the daytime, he will also be using double hook rigs. And what I mean by that is this. Yeah, I gotta get this untangled here. Okay, and double hook rigs, well, let me see if I can get this opened up here. There we go, there we go. Okay, double hook rigs, basically we have, again, another double arm's worth of leader material, okay? So we have our initial one, very heavy, okay, that goes to the ball bearing swivel, or in the boatman's case, he's using a maritime shackle. And then we tie our hooks to this end, okay? And on that end, I make sure I don't hook myself here, okay? Here's another double arm length, and then we have a T-knot, okay? And from this T-knot, we have a short leader and a long leader with hooks. Now you notice I'm doing the same thing, polymer knot with chain knots for extra bite protection on my hooks, okay? That is from experience and design, because I've had cases of, what is that called? I've had cases of fish biting through. Now you can see this one, I'm doing just a straight snell. That also works. I'm actually going to retie this one because, yeah, this is the wrong type of hook for snells. But you notice the size of the hooks. These are 6/0 hooks, okay? These are giant, because the thing is that one thing that this boatman has taught me is that, 20 years ago, there's a different fishery out there. So we would properly present elegantly rigged fillets and stuff like that for bottom fishing. And we would get some big fish. Nowadays, the fish populations have changed, and profile is everything. Big profile, bigger fish tend to hit. Smaller profile, you get picked to bits by tiny little fish, okay? He doesn't want those. He's looking for larger fish he can sell in the market. So I follow his lead, big hooks, giant profile of baits, okay? So I hope this helps. Any further questions, hit me up, okay? Thanks, guys. See ya.